Man, this video right here was looked over and revised with the help of many. When I get too excited, I just naturally go off rail and end up at the bottom of the ocean. See how that made no sense? Exactly. But shout out to everyone that helped me gather my thoughts and provided input for today's video. If at any moment you pause and think, Regis made a good point, or oh, this is interesting, go ahead and leave a fat thumbs up and subscribe. We'd greatly appreciate it. Now everyone says Deepwoken is the game to play, but is it really? I mean, for me the answer is yes, but we need to be logical about this. Today's point, or question I should say, is Deepwoken meant for you? Would you really be able to sit there for an hour plus and enjoy the game? Right off the bat, I expect everyone to say yes, and there's nothing wrong with that, of course. However, we get so hyped and forget some of the biggest information we have been given but have not noticed. For the sake of not melting our brains, I will tackle this very slowly, one by one. Quick update. Few things I have addressed in my old Deepwoken video. The dual wielding we saw, that dagger is a parry dagger. Someone in the direct video described it as training wheels. The feint that I thought I saw was actually a failed parry, but you can feint. And there are stances. I think that's about covering it all. So now let's dive into this. Defining linear progression. Trust me, this will all make sense at the end if you stick with me for each subject. Linear progression is easily understandable by defining it as repeating the same events to progress through a game. So since Grand Peace Online is one of the hottest topics right now, we will use that as an example. In GPO, to progress in the game, you do quests and kill NPCs. Some other things you can do in the game is farm for boss drops, get a Delve fruit, or become a marine. Regardless, you cannot get overall stronger or better stats without doing quests and farming NPCs to level up. Another example is Shinobi Life 2. You spin for different KGs, then go right back in the game and do missions to level up your KG to unlock other skills. Now of course there are other modes, but we are just mainly focusing on the open world for Shinobi Life 2. I had to pause because I realized I shouldn't be saying Shinobi Life 2 anymore. Hopefully you understand this linear progression. I feel like it's very straightforward, so I may not be explaining it the best. If a repeatable event cannot be identified that gets you to a certain point, then there is no linear progression. Usually this means an end goal may exist, but there are many ways to get to that point, which means you are partaking in horizontal progression. Now, to tie this back to Rogue Lineage, since many of you are coming from that community, were fans of the game, or are still arguing that Deepwoken is going to be like Rogue. Weird. Anywho, the game was linear depending on what class you were. You would need to train your Fist XP, Chaotic, Orderly, etc., all to get to the point of an Uber class. No matter what class you were, there was a designated repeated event you need to do to progress. As far as we know, Deepwoken is not like that, and shall discuss why in my next point. Defining horizontal progression is not the easiest of all tasks. Thankfully, I have some intelligent friends, devs, and connections. An easy start to defining this is when a game has no specific singular endgame. Usually that means the gameplay allows you to take many different routes to get to a certain point, one that others may never see or get to due to taking a different course of action. Now, that does not mean linear progression is non-existent. It's just not as influencing, if that makes any sense. You may do a few repeated events to get a little understanding of something, but after that, your adventure story is yours to make. Still confused? Right here at this moment, I decided to freestyle this. Because when you start to bring up the topic horizontal progression, that usually means the dev team needs to get creative. That means they're asking the question, how do you progress through a game without doing the same things? A quest, killing the same NPC over and over, and just leveling up. I guess, in my opinion, this is where you have to really be, imagination is really asked for. This is where you have to be creative, innovate, and bring new ideas to the table. So some games we see is usually the trinket system. We've seen more closed community games bring that up. That's a innovative way to, you know, progress through games, sort of. You collect those, and some games will give you XP for that, but usually it's just to make more money. Okay, cool. Now that's starting to become a lot pretty frequent and common, so that's not the best example. But to be honest with you guys, there's no best example to be honest, because it's just, if you're the dev, this is where you get to get creative. You don't know what to expect, and if you're just a fan like me, you like I said, you don't know what to expect. You don't know what's gonna come. You don't know what to do, because usually it's just farm quest, level up, and get stronger. Now, it's not like that. There's a horizontal progression, and that means there could be tons of other things you can do to progress through a game, enjoy a game, play the game. You have no idea what the creator wants you to experience. The creator's just like, go ahead and do whatever. That's there, at least. That's laid out. Find out what is there. And that's really the best part about horizontal progression, in my opinion, because we're not doing the same thing over and over. We get something new finally. I guess a good point I could bring up is Shinobi Life 2. I think Main had talked to me about that. Shinobi Life 2 got innovative with a few things, and if some of y'all didn't like it, some of y'all didn't like some of the modes they introduced, you're like, what the heck is this? We want the normal Shinobi life that we've been getting over and over, farm KGs, and just get stronger and go crazy, pop crazy moves. Shinobi Life 2, oh man, I gotta stop saying that. That game decided to take a different route, and things we weren't expecting. That's where we start seeing more horizontal progression for the game. You can do this, and that. I really don't know all the details about it because I wasn't too big of a fan of Shinobi Life 2, because one, college, and then two, I was just getting tired of doing the same thing over and over in the normal mode. So there's that, scratch that, whatever. But hopefully you guys understand what I'm saying. And in horizontal progression, yes, there will be linear progression. You see it a little bit. That's because if there was no linear progression, you wouldn't want to play the game in general. Yes, you're going to get thrown into a world you have no idea what to do, but there is going to be few things that you can repeat. But that's just only to get you started. Like maybe get you some money, maybe let you understand combat a little bit, how to parry, all that. That's the only small amount of linear progression you probably see. Now, this is all just an idea and theory, so don't quote me on anything. But yeah, that's just how I really feel about it. And now let me get back to the script and talk about my next point. Now, we already know Deepwoken is going to be a huge game. We have heard in live streams that when you travel from one island to another, you're going to want to be well prepared. Now, obviously, that probably only matters if you are going on a long voyage, which probably means there will be environmental interactions, such as the weather, thunderstorms, wind resistance, etc. Now, I cannot help but think about my good friend Dogecoon. This dude loves exploration and games such as Sea of Thieves. In Sea of Thieves, there is so much to be done in no specific order from what I understand. Go to one island, and next thing you know, you're out here defeating skeletons. Or maybe you're a big money type of person, and you're out here collecting artifacts, items, or even fishes, for all I know, and end up trading and making money. Now imagine if you can do that in Deepwoken. I already know information is going to be so valuable, and so now I think it's pretty much a good possibility. Now I've heard from others in Sea of Thieves, it's so much more fun to play with friends, and that it's quite boring by yourself. Obviously, these are people's opinions, but let's say you happen to get into Deepwoken, and you unfortunately do not have the friend group to play it with, or your friends are not on when you want to play. You hereby decide to say screw it all and play by yourself. Not necessarily saying the game would be boring, because I highly doubt it will, but imagine how much more difficult this game gets attempting to play this huge game by yourself. It has been said you can solo this game though. But anywho, things that are naturally easier with more people now become more challenging, eventually frustrating. Unexpected events happen and you get ganked, random events occur, etc. Due to this game being so vast, you should be expecting the unexpected. You may not find yourself enjoying it because you just cannot progress in the manner you want it to. Now, before I dive into this, you guys gotta forgive me. English is not my first language, and I really suck at pronouncing words at times. I cannot remember if this was an Infernasu's livestream or just some Q&A, but there was a mission Infernasu, Rag, Arch, and a few others had gone off to complete. Now, if memory serves me right, they had a strategy because the guards could be alerted, and if so needed, could call backup. I'm almost 100% sure someone had mentioned we need to hurry and get out of here before more ships start to pull up. All because one guard was alive and saw the rest of his allies dead. That's just one example of AI. Now think about the towns. We have stationed guards outside of town that could be your ally or your enemy, all depending on your reputation. So let's say, or think about it this way. Reputation, so practically you could be a good guy or bad guy. Now how would that affect your rep? Maybe quests, defending or attacking a town, killing or even saving someone. So for every action you do in this game, could you be affecting your rep? or even affecting your gameplay in the long run without even noticing it? For all you know, you may have missed out on a rare quest because you decided to do another quest due to the request of another NPC. Now you're playing a game where you have to be conscious about every decision. I mean, you don't have to, but if I'm right, I think it would be pretty beneficial to be conscious about your decision making. I almost forgot to include the Twitter post that made me think about the AIs. This is from Phoenix Signs, and the AI is literally learning how to be on a full-on sweat at sword fighting by being put in 30 different fighting instances of itself and past version. Now this is a stretch, but imagine we got young King Arthur born, and someone failed to kill him in the kingdom. So let's say Seiji 4 ran up to him, because Seiji 4 be doing the most ridiculous thing. We said, yo, that is King Arthur as a 13-year-old, training to become a knight or something. And Sage ran up to him and said, bing, 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 bing. But Sage got folded. But Sage was boxing. Let's say, okay, we can't forget it. Sage was, he was throwing out some haymakers in there, bing, bing, hit him up. But he still loses. King Arthur developed skills to be able to counter that in the future. Naturally get stronger by more opponents or events happening. Then boom, King Arthur is crowned and is dang near too impossible to kill, all because of past experience. You see? Alright, let me calm down. Let's get back on point. AIs are smart in this game. The NPCs are not just bots. You're not playing such a straightforward game. You're playing a smart game. Everything you do, you best be looking out at those NPCs and seeing how they're reacting. Seeing if they decide to pick up the phone, say, hey, yo, I just saw that boy Sage. I don't know why I keep bringing up Sage, but Sage is crazy. So we're gonna use Sage. He's the best example. I just saw Sage. Drop that boy, bro. We hit him in the back real quick with a 1-2, killed him, and then ran off. Hey, but you didn't hear from me. Oh my God, Seiji did not even realize the rest of his gameplay has been altered. So, okay. Alright, let me stop. I'm sorry, guys. I started getting off track. Well, my fault. Let me get back on point. Now we can finally address this question: is Deepwoken for you? Mainly talking to the people that like a very direct line of gameplay. Quest, farm, NPCs, cool gear, boom, max level. This is not going to be the case. Is that okay with you? Are you okay with knowing that you literally may have to figure out the majority of the game yourself? Of course, there'll be some videos, wikis, tutorials, but you're gonna have to find out by yourself. Are you okay with that? Or even may not be able to partake in other actions because you decide to do this instead of that, which causes a disruption in the universe that doesn't make any sense. So many unknowns, and you just want to find out what endgame is, and unfortunately it's not laid out for you. Would that drive you insane? Let's be honest, this was a lot. It was so hard not to go on a rambling streak and just talk about the things I imagined that would be in Deepwoken. Okay, I might have did that a little bit, but that was just to prove some points. Some of y'all might be wondering, Regis, do you think you are meant for Deepwoken? I said it before, and I'll say it again. Yes, sir! My excitement cannot be contained. I'm well aware of the possibilities and the struggles that may arise. I, for one, will not be able to play this game by myself though. If my assumptions are right, talking about how hard the game gets, trying to play it solo. But you guys already know I run with the gang. IB main, Seiji 4 Ethereal Miracle, Doge, Terra, Maui, the list goes on. And then you guys forget that I got some other friends, that I played with other close community games, There's times where I'm not running with my home gang, but I just play with the people I'm with. I'm not worried. Trust. I know how to make friends. Dang. But trust, activities such as gear crafting or like training that we saw, like the Spar thing, I can do it myself. Otherwise, I'm playing it smart and waiting for at least one person. What will you be doing? Let me know in the comment section, you guys. This is the end of the video. I think I covered everything I wanted to. I tried not to go too crazy because once again the game's not out and there's just so many things I could be wrong about, but that's fine. We'll learn about it as we go through the time. I have a theory that I think is it wave 0 or wave 1 will be out by Christmas. I saw someone bring that up and I was like, yo, that could make sense. Wave 0, okay, not wave 1. If I'm right, wave 0 is coming first. I wouldn't be surprised if wave 0 came by Christmas, maybe for like bug testing, finding out the big bugs. Not necessarily seeing if the game is running yet, see if it's stable, can handle this amount of players, but just grinding out all the bugs. Still learning the ropes of the game kind of early on. Obviously, that's what happens in any game. You get put in early, you want to see. You want to play the game. You want to see what it's all about, obviously. But the main points would be getting the bugs out to prepare for a release in 2021. So, let me know how you feel about that. If that's kind of too crazy, or it does make sense. It's a month away. If you guys did enjoy this entire video, please, I would love a fat thumbs up and a big fat subscribe. Obviously, you guys don't have to, but I truly appreciate it. I look back at some of the other videos, I'm like, dang, you people really take the time out of your day to go leave a thumbs up. I appreciate it so much. And yeah, so if you guys got any more comments, questions, whatever, you guys want me to address something, go ahead and leave it in the comment sections. I think this will be like my last big Deepwoken video I do for a bit. I might talk about a mage build on like why that's not possible. I remember Rag saying something about that once, so I definitely do want to bring that up. But besides that, I think I'll be taking it easy now. YouTube, I can't promise I'm gonna be consistent, but things like this makes me interested, and I just love sharing my ideas with y'all and hearing what y'all have to say. So that's why I uploaded this. But yeah, until next time. Oh, we can't forget, as the great Abby Main said, I just want to play Deepwoken.